Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dream Do Done, your accountability podcast from process to progress. It's summertime. It's hot out in these here streets, but we're not going to complain. We just explaining what the situation is. So we're happy that you're here. You know, it's 1-ish on a Monday afternoon. So where else would you be but with us? So thank you so much for tuning in. It's the How To Coach, Tamara Hartley, and myself, the Chief Faithpreneur. And the pulpit chick is once again on location. So, she might pop on in a little later, but she's taking care of some business today. So we appreciate that. We all have multiple things that we do every single Monday, but we make it happen and we thank you for tuning in. So Tamara girl, how you bees in these streets?
Let me tell you, I bees hot right now. Look, when I dropped my son off at football camp this morning at 8 o'clock, it was 80 degrees. Now, I'm not complaining, but that's something that we're not always used to. But hey, I complained when it was cold. Y'all heard that feedback. So I'm going to accept it and just, turn the air on. So if y'all hear my little buzz, I cannot turn the air off.
Absolutely. Like it's going to be a scorcher of a summer. I just really hope that with all this opening up and everybody getting back to moving about, that folks are still taking it easy.
Yeah.
We're not in the clear. COVID is still happening. And, while people are getting vaccinated, some people are choosing not to. There are different strains. Like we just have to be aware of all the different variables that are out in the world. So use wisdom.
Yeah. And don't just take your mask off because it's hot.
Mhm.
Don't let that be your strategy.
I know that's not a good strategy. And the heat is not killing the virus.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. So, a lot going on in the news, a lot happening as we are ending the 6 month. Can you believe it, Tamara? Like, it's
Yes.
June. June is about to end. Like, I'm just not even ready to process all of that. But
Yeah.
June is ending, and we're about to be in the second half of 2021.
Right. I said, I was just saying that out loud the other day because it was like, when we first went home with the pandemic, it's been a year and a half. And I'm like, wow, like it's already July again. Like last July, we weren't really, we were limited. We couldn't go that many places. And now this July is opening back up, but it's already been a year and a half.
Yeah, incredible. I'm like, oh my Lord, the time is moving too fast. But I hope that we all took advantage of the time when we did have it. Because some folks are like, wait, no, I want to keep meeting on Zoom. And some people have to go back into the office. They don't really have an option, right? Because they're not in business for themselves. So they have to go into the office if they're mandated by their employer. So let's keep folks, because some people are not really comfortable, and now
Yeah.
it's raising all these other employee relation lawsuit situations where people are like, can I fight back if I want to have a family and I'm pregnant and I don't feel safe, and some that
Yeah.
have underlying health conditions. So it's like, oh my goodness, there's
Yeah.
layers to the challenges that we're seeing now with this. I don't want to
Yeah.
just say post COVID because we're still in it, but the initial
Yeah. And
trauma that we're
even and
experiencing.
even and even if there's conversation about whether it can be mandatory that you get the vaccine in some cases. So people are also fighting back on some of that, can it be mandated that children get the vaccine, that certain employees in certain situations get the vaccine. So it's a lot going on around it.
That's true too. And, I'm even thinking about like our children and such, because they have some mandates for the schools that you can't come on campus if you're not vaccinated.
Yep.
So this is happening in real time. We're seeing new laws, new, situations that are rising. Hey, Steven. Y'all be stretching the what? Yeah, I know. And look, Steven, I haven't stopped since I spoke to you for a hot second earlier. So as soon as I get off the air, I'll be hollering at you. But
Look,
it
wait a
is,
minute. I just want to say, Stephen, in our defense, we started meeting. We had a strategy session today. So we started at 11. So
we just didn't go live. We just didn't go live.
we've been putting in that work this morning. So
Yes, indeed. It's been a marathon Monday. He said y'all be stretching it. Hilarious. Just today, just special circumstances for today. But we really want everyone to be cautious before we get into just a quick topic today on how you present yourself. And there's been a lot in the news. We're not going to go through all of the different headline stories that have hit, but one in particular seemed to have sparked a lot of discussion about how you look at work. And work can be a variety of places. This happens to be someone who is representing the country and qualified for being a part of the Olympics. So, the Olympics are in the news. And this was one of the Philadelphia Inquirer articles on our dear sister, Sha'Carri Richardson. And they were talking about whether or not the flashy hair or the bright hair, the nails, the tattoos, people were, giving their opinion on how she presented herself. And I'm like, are we focused on the talent, on the presentation? Which one matters? So for Dream Do Done today, this is a little off our normal topic, but on topic when we talk about business and branding and how you represent yourself. So we were just curious about your thoughts on it. But Tamara, I know you wanted to share something from the highlight in this article.
So I find myself in multiple different opinions about this because not only am I an entrepreneur, work in the professional corporate world, but also I'm a mother. And so I know a lot of times, I have young adult children and people who want to live their best life and just really show up in their personalities and how they want to present themselves. So you look at the colorful hair, you look at the tattoos. My daughters know, they'll tell you too, my favorite saying when someone gets a tattoo that I'm no longer in control of them anymore. But the thing I say is, I hope it hurt. I'm always saying that. But, we've had conversations about when you get to the professional world. A lot of times, when I tell my children, you make decisions when you're younger, you want to get this tattoo to represent this and do that. But some of these things can come back to haunt you depending on, or bite you, depending on where you decide to work, what you decide to do. And I think a lot of times people are saying things like, you need to be an entrepreneur. That way you're in control of how you look and you don't have to, confine to anybody's uniform or anybody's, you can't do this, you can't do that. But at the same time, I also know you have to still do business. You have to represent yourself, your brand. And so I think there is a part where you can be you and be creative and show that creative side of you. But I also think there's a responsibility, depending on where you work, what you choose to do for a living, of how you represent and how you show up. There are some arenas where you show up, if you show up at the doctor's office and the doctor's hair is green, you form opinions about that. And you're like, okay, I was supposed to have open heart surgery, but I'm not sure if I want to do that, based upon how that person came in and showed themselves to you. And unfortunately, that's where we live. So Sha'Carri, she's been compared, and I don't know if it's Sha'Carri or Sha'Carri, I say it different every time I say it, but she is definitely a talent. She's been compared, yes, Stephen, you said she's been compared to FloJo and the flashiness. And she has the nails, and I really think that's just her personal style. When it comes to something like this, we can't even celebrate her win and what she's done in the world right now. She's representing the USA, and she has one of the fastest times ever ran by anyone. And that is all getting downplayed by people having opinions about how she looks. So in certain arenas, I don't think it should overshadow the accomplishments here. But then I also know that when it comes to branding, when it comes to who you choose to do business with and things like that, your presentation does matter. The polished look, whatever, depending on where you are, it really does matter. So that's why I said I can be all over with this one because I do think the situation and circumstances matter, but I don't think it's less important of what she has done because of how she chooses to, make herself stand out.
Absolutely. And what Stephen said about the skills and the talent scare them. There's some truth to that. They talked about FloJo. FloJo will always be one of my sheroes. I love me some FloJo. They talk about Serena. They talking about her. She has the talent. I think we have to, I don't know, we seem to pick and choose in the media what we highlight, what we don't highlight, what we criticize, what we don't criticize. If someone is adding value to the world, if they're showing up in a positive way, I think we can lay a little bit on the judgment and allow them to be great. Just allow her to be great. She's representing the country. We want her focused on that. The U.S. loves a win. So instead of tearing her down, build up her spirits and make her even more excited about what it is that she's doing. I don't know. There's a lot about self-image, a lot about um, body shaming. There's all these things that even my children are telling me exist. I'm like, say what now? Like, what is happening in the world? I'm so confused.
And then there's also that whole stigma that comes along with black women, because a lot of the black women they get this kind of backlash even in the Olympics. If you remember Gabby Douglas and the whole thing about her hair
Her
and
hair.
all of those things, like you can't even concentrate on your talent, your win, and representing this country and winning your gold medals when you have so much of that backlash and opinionated stuff. It's not even things that are, if you do this, you can't do that. It's opinions, and people have their opinions and they tend to share them even more so for the black women who are a part of the U.S. team. And that's been typical for the last couple of years. And so that's why this kind of feels like same kind of sting. It's like, okay, you can't even concentrate on that because you're looking at this. It's just happening again and again and again because of what she chooses to do with her hair or her nails. And it's like, at the end of the day, does it matter how you run if you have long nails or short nails, or are short nails? Who deemed that was more professional in this particular arena?
Absolutely. And Stephen made another good point. Male athletes don't get the same scrutiny. They just
sure
get to put as many tattoos on as they want, color their hair. And, remember Dennis Rodman?
Oh yeah, but I'm convinced that people who have dreads in a ponytail are some of the fastest people on the planet. I don't know.
It's something about it.
You're right. They don't get that same kind of backlash. You're right.
Yeah, not at all. And I just think it's interesting to talk about what we ascribe to, what the media puts a lot of emphasis on, who's sharing our narrative. That's why having our own platforms where we can talk about what's important, where we can have dialogue around the things that help us to keep moving in an upward direction and to add value to the world. That's more important, because sometimes I think the narrative gets all kind of twisted.
Yeah.
And like, what are we really focusing on here? Like, what's important? Are we here to judge someone's appearance, or are we here to celebrate someone's skills and talents?
Yeah. So from an entrepreneur standpoint, just because we talk about that, we're always conflicted when we're moms and all that, and we have to, shape these young adults as well. Is it a free pass? Can you do what you want, be what you want, look how you want, even as an entrepreneur? Now, I know in the corporate world, they kind of have some parameters as to, you need to dress like this, casual Fridays and things like that. They kind of dictate who you are and how you look in a uniform way. Even in school settings, uniforms, people have to go to school and look and be a certain way. But as an entrepreneur, do you get a free pass? Are you, okay, Faithpreneur, you are in charge of who you are. So can you do exactly what you want, regardless of who you have to do business with? Or
child, look, if I show up looking like, okay, I'm not going to mention, I caught a piece of the BET Awards and there was some interesting outfits. So I don't think that my tribe would appreciate me showing up in some interesting, scantily clad apparel.
But you own your own business.
Yeah, but it doesn't quite fit with the messaging. And I think you need to govern yourself accordingly. Something is not appropriate, or it doesn't enhance your following, your tribe, your connect. You can turn people off. So if your importance is about building relationship and building trust, people want to know, like, and trust you. So your appearance comes with that, because sometimes they don't really get to know you right away. They know you through the multiple interactions, how you carry yourself, what you present. So if you come looking sort of crazy, just like the surgeon could be a great surgeon getting ready to operate on you with green hair, but the green hair would stop you like,
it's a distraction.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
It's the messaging. You said something very key. It's the messaging, your brand. And we have to think about that. Now, if you're a rock star and you want to turn your hair green, it's kind of almost expected because it's so accepted in that arena. So it really depends on your environment, what your messaging is, who your audience is, and what you're trying to do. And so you have to be aware of that, because we do live in a place where those things come into play all the time, every day.
Every day. And the truth of the matter is, we're talking about today what that image looks like, how to manage it, but people are going to judge you regardless. Yeah. So that's not something you can get away from. Our message to you is, as you are working out your corporate ladder ascension, your entrepreneurial success as a small business owner, you need to chart out a course that you can be consistent with, comfortable with and that truly represents the true essence of who you are. And sometimes you just can't give two shakes of a rat's tail what anybody else got to say. I'm just saying. What does Steven say here?
Can you say that again? To what? To you got to sometimes you have to have Stacy repeat what she said.
As I make up all kind of craziness, two shakes of a rat's tail. When I started my business, goal was to be able to dress like Russell Simmons. I've never seen him in a suit. Oh, okay, that's a good one. And some
Did you
people
make it
think
there? Did you realize that goal, Stephen?
Steven does his thing. But it's so funny he brings up Russell Simmons because I know a lot of younger business people who like the sneakers and the suit with the baseball cap, but then that conflicts with you don't wear a hat indoors. As a sign of respect, men take off their hats. So it's interesting. That's definitely an interesting one. Steven said, "Yep."
Well, I
Steven is a
think during this pandemic, even I'm dressing like Russell Simmons. So
Look, everybody's been dressing a little different. Like the tops are good, but the bottoms are
do
questionable.
not make
Don't
me
move
stand
past
up.
the feet. Oh my goodness. Well, this was just a fun show today as we close out for today. He said he hasn't worn a suit since 2018. I know that's right because you're able to do and dictate what it is that you want in the marketplace when you run your own shop. When you don't run your own shop,
Absolutely.
then it's
But
a whole
I
nother
but
story.
I'll guarantee, Stephen is one of our faithful audience members and he collaborates every week when he attends. But I guarantee you not wearing a suit has not interfered with the business that you do. And you are wise enough to know when and if it ever does. You know what I mean? So I think that's really what Stacy was saying, that your audience, your messaging, and you can dictate that. And there's nothing a slight to your talent and what you do for businesses every single day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So make that decision and choice. And, we're going to come back talking about some more of these topics when we really think about how we're showing up in the marketplace. We're dreaming. What are you actually doing? So how do you measure what you're doing? And making sure that you're in a position, in a place that you see some return on your time and investment. And that's what we're here for. Dream Do Done. We're here to support you in the process. We have the journal to help you. And of course, we have our master classes. And I'm going to let Tamara close us out today on just talking about what you need to stay tuned for, as our goal is not only to do the things that we have planned and orchestrated for our individual businesses and our collective partnership, but for you to succeed. It's no fun doing it alone. We want everybody to win. So over to you, Tamara.
Absolutely. So you see the website dreamdodone.com. That is part of what our strategy session was this morning, getting ready for what that next master class is going to look like. And one of the things that we have decided as entrepreneurs, and all of us are busy, all of us have multiple endeavors, we have families, we have different things. So we're really into putting together a business that works for you. So I think you're going to really enjoy our next sessions of master classes and trainings that we have coming up. Make sure you stay to the website and make sure you sign up. That's going to be key because the demand will definitely dictate how many we start off with and what we're doing. So make sure you sign up on the website, stay tuned to that. And like I said, on Dream Do Done, we are doing what you're doing. We are getting it done. And behind the scenes is where it all happens. So that's why we were late today. So that's a good thing because we have to do what we say we're going to do. And we're very excited how we can help you in this next phase. It's already July. We can still win this end of this year. So don't think it's too late. Just hop on in. Make sure you sign up for one of those classes though.
All right. Thank you, Tamara. And thank you, Stephen, for always being here. Everyone else that's tuning in, catching the replay. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. It's the holiday. It's the July 4th holiday. So we'll have a quick show next week because folks are vacationing, but we're going to celebrate the independence of being an actor in your own life. Taking action despite the distraction as a faithpreneur and the pulpit chick bringing some sunshine with no negative words, only positive words only. Bye-bye, everyone. See you soon.